Thank you, Madam Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Larry Vogelman. I'm with the Nixon. I always put my name before Dave Nixon. He would never forgive me. The Nixon Vogelman Law Firm, and I'm the immediate past president. It's okay, come on, Chris. Of the bar, and I just wanted to make it clear that I'm not speaking on behalf of the New Hampshire Bar Association, because as the members of this committee know, we are legally not allowed to take positions on legislation like this. When I was on the commission, there were some questions raised about the likelihood of a wrongful conviction now that we have DNA testing. So I'd like to share with you how the Innocence Project started back in the late 1980s. Barry Scheck and I were asked to represent somebody in the first case where we were challenging the admissibility of DNA testing. And we were successful in doing that. We brought Peter Neufeld aboard, and the three of us then were asked to work on an exoneration of somebody in Nassau County who claimed he was innocent of a rape. And through DNA testing, we established that he was, and he was exonerated. Then foolishly, Barry went on a TV show that some of the members of this committee, not all, might remember, called The Donahue Show, where without speaking to either myself or Peter Neufeld, he made an offer to inmates around the country. He said, if there is anybody out there who believes that DNA testing could prove their innocence, contact us and we will represent you. In the next 30 days, there were over 100,000 letters addressed to Cardozo Law School, where Barry and I taught. And what we had to do is have students and hire people to go through those letters. And the point I want to make is that in 90% of those cases, DNA testing could not have established one way or another whether somebody was guilty, while in all of those cases, the person in prison was maintaining their innocence. And as some of you know, and those of you involved in law enforcement, not every crime produces forensic evidence where scientifically you can prove innocence or guilt. We had people saying, I'm convicted of murder, but it was self-defense. Do DNA testing. I was convicted of rape, but it was consent. Do DNA testing. So when people talk about exonerations around the country on death row, we are only talking about perhaps less than 10% of the people that might be innocent and incarcerated because you can't DNA test most crimes. So when people say, because there's DNA testing, an innocent person can never be convicted, that's just nonsense. And I love the fact that I moved here 20 years ago from New York. New Hampshire is an unbelievable state to practice law, and our system is incredible. But if a lot of you remember, a state that had a lot of exonerations was Illinois. Illinois probably has one of the best funded capital defense offices in the country. It's not a place where lawyers sleep. It's not a place where lawyers try capital cases when they're drunk. They're terrific lawyers, and even in that state, innocent people, over 30 of them have been exonerated. I'd like to close briefly with a 30-second excerpt from Clarence Darrow's summation in the Leopold and Loeb case almost exactly 90 years ago. Because I really believe and I pray that in my lifetime, New Hampshire and the rest of the states in the United States will see the light and join the rest of the civilized world in abolishing the death penalty. In Leopold and Loeb, it was as heinous a crime as you can get. Two young boys killed a child to see how it would feel, for the thrill of it. And he pleaded guilty to the charge, but then he argued sentencing to the judge, and this is what Mr. Darrow
I
said.
was going to call Michael Green and then...
Your Honor stands between the past and the future. You may hang these boys. You may hang them by the neck until they are dead. But in doing it, you will turn your face towards the past. I am pleading to this committee for the future. I am pleading for a time when hatred and cruelty will not control the hearts of men, when we can learn by reason and judgment and understanding and faith that all life is worth saving and that mercy is the highest attribute of man. So I be written in the book of love. Do not care about that book above. Erase my name or write as you will. So I be written in the book of love. Thank you.
Any questions for the gentleman? Seeing none, I found a card that's from a...